crazy to think that 2023 marks my 4th decade in this world. Feels like just yesterday my coworkers and I were talking about how we're in the prime of our lives at age 26. 4 years, 1 dead parent, and 1 bad knee later, and I'm sitting here wondering what the hell happened. I know what happened. You do too. Time flows for us all, and we just have to hang out with it. I still have the energy in me so long as I take a Vivarin before a breakfast shake. It's the new age coffee and donuts. It's supposed to be better for you. These last few years have made me a bit of a homebody, and that's fine. I get up, go to work, come home, and rinse and repeat. It's fine. My biggest escape, of course, is my hobbies. I like to take walks around the cemetery, build model kits, and play video games. I didn't have a lot of money as a kid to play whatever I wanted, and now I just don't have enough time, but I try to take a bit out of my day and whittle away at basically whatever I feel like playing. I've never been that interested in actually finishing something. I like to think of my gaming habits as a charcuterie board. A little of this, a little of that. Variety is the spice of life, so they say. One day, however, I woke up with an urge. I wanted to play the Sega Saturn. So here I was, 5 in the morning. I get up, take a shower, drink my breakfast, and look on eBay how much a Saturn costs. It's not so bad, but I don't have a CRT to play it on, and I wanted to record footage. Plus, a good amount of games I was interested in are fan translations. I don't know how to get those to run on original hardware. I suppose it'll be best to just emulate it on my PC. About an hour passes, and I finally get everything I need to play some games. I had a focus in mind, but for now I figured I'd sample the platter a bit. First things first, I gotta pay respects to Capcom and Next Entertainment's port of Resident Evil. I've heard stories about this game. The models are a little different compared to its PS1 counterpart. It's got a battle mode similar to RE2's Extreme Battle and RE3's Mercenaries, and it's got 2 tyrants. Hell, it's got a gold tyrant. Next up is Sexy Parodius. It's Parodius, which is a portmanteau of Parody Gradius, and hence the name, it's sexy. Basically, it's a horizontal shooter where you're treated to a pretty lady at the end of each stage. We're gonna get back to that later. Before we get to the main event, I gotta talk about Sakura Wars. Noah Steam and their team did a wonderful job with this localization. I honestly could talk about Sakura Wars all day, and I might at a later date. But at the end of the day, I was near laser focused on one game. You see, I was talking to a good friend of mine a few days prior, and we got onto the subject of arcade shooters. Ikaruga, Radiant Silvergun, Gradius, Darius, good video games. One particular game caught my interest. He kept talking about Dodonpachi. I knew the name, but I wasn't familiar with the mechanics. I knew it was a vertical shooter, but that's it. The way he talked about Dodonpachi made it seem like he was talking about God himself. I acted cool, but I knew deep down that I needed to play the game. So that morning, while showering, while drinking my disgusting breakfast drink, all I could think of was Dodonpachi. When I played Resident Evil, I thought of Dodonpachi. When I saw a woman's nearly exposed breasts in Sexy Parodius, I thought,
Dodonpachi is better than breasts.
When I played Sakura Wars, I thought of Dodonpachi. Now, when I played Elevator Action Returns, I thought about Elevator Action Returns because you can't think of anything else when you're playing that game. It's just so good. At around 9 a.m., I decided that it was time. I needed to play Dodonpachi. That morning, I changed. Before we get to Dodonpachi, I need to talk a little bit more about Sexy Parodius and what it represents. Sexy Parodius, at its core, is a shooter. It's nothing more, nothing less. Once you add the sex factor to it, it becomes, sexy. Sex doesn't have to mean sex. It does in this case, but you know the saying. Everything is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power. I'm in the front passenger seat of my friend's brother's car. We're going down the highway trying to make it to Austin before the restaurants start closing. He says he knows a good Greek place. We make it to his apartment. He orders the food. I'm not going to get into specifics, but the days I had experienced leading up to that Greek food, I wouldn't wish them on anyone. We sit on his couch and eat gyros and laugh at the TV. His brother walks out of his room, tells me he knows what's going on and offers to help in any way he can. He gives me this 2-player fight stick that he says he doesn't use anymore. The kind that has MAME installed and a bunch of arcade games. The next morning I wake up freezing on their couch. It's 30 degrees outside. My friend and I get ready for the next part of my pilgrimage. We eat at Kirby Lane Cafe and kill time at the local half-price books. In the middle of the plaza, I find a barber shop with a couple friendly flags. I walk in and the first thing they do is offer me a beer. I never felt this kind of customer service. I asked one of the barbers if they could just buzz my hair. I told them that I didn't want my hair anymore. Half an hour passes and I'm out the door, a little lighter, head's a little colder. But that day I made a vow. I was going to grow my hair and beard out for at least a year. Then either cut it and shave or just let it keep going. Maybe I'll just let my hair grow and shave my beard, or maybe I'll do like a Fu Manchu thing and let my beard grow out and have a bald head. Wasn't really prepared for whatever I was going to do. I just wanted to see how long a year's worth of hair was. When the time came, I was ready to make one final stop with my friend, San Antonio. We made it to a facility and I tell him that I could take it from there. I waited a bit. After about an hour, I took an Uber for the first time. I booked a hotel room for 2 and waited to pick up a very important person. I went back to the facility and once I reunited with the VIP, we Ubered back to the hotel. I ordered us some pizza and we tried to watch TV. The following morning, another friend picked us both up and we made our way to North Star Mall and spent over $120 on some of the worst food I've ever eaten. Cheesecake Factory. My friend in the VIP wanted to smoke about 10 cigarettes each, so I decided to make a little solo trip within the mall. I stumbled upon a Doc Martens store. I always wanted a pair of Docs. My tax refund had just hit, so I figured I'd treat myself given the events that transpired days prior. I walked out with my first pair of boots. We made it back home in record time. I unpacked my things, tried on my boots, and proceeded to explore the contents of that fight stick. To my delight, I noticed that he had played literally every game on the device that had dinosaurs in it. He always loved dinosaurs. Scrolling through the rest of the games, I came across a name that took me aback. Pachinko Sexy Reaction. Pachinko Sexy Reaction is an arcade game where you play pachinko, actually Pachi slot in this case. Then you watch a chibi version of a lady cry out whenever you get a winning slot combination. When you score enough points, the game scene transitions to a short animation of said lady taking her clothes off, revealing her breasts and buttocks. I can't show you this footage, but you can find it yourself pretty easily online. The lady then changes into a skimpy outfit. But we all know what we're here for. We want to see what they didn't want us to see. The outfit is a nice bonus, but players got to see a naked lady. That's kind of the dream. Pachinko Sexy Reaction is the Rosetta Stone of games after and even before the game's release. Every game has Pachinko, Sexy, and Reaction. Case in point, Dragon Quest. In this case, the Pachinko is the game's addictive yet simple mechanics. You can almost guarantee that each game will be the same in regards to its basic systems. The Sexy is the visual design. Bright, colorful creatures, vibrant landscapes. It's Akira Toriyama's masterwork. The Reaction is, well, the reaction. When I play Dragon Quest today, I feel like I'm a kid again, bumbling around on NES-ticle, playing the first game in the series. When I played Dragon Quest for the first time, my reaction was, hey, this kind of plays like Pokemon, but I can't catch the slimes. Every game boils down to Pachinko Sexy Reaction. When we play a free-to-play mobile game, we get those free gems to get hooked. It's the naked lady of the new generation. We either play for free, or we spend a few bucks here and there to activate that dopamine hit. If we don't get what we want, we either continue playing for free, or we put $10 more down on the table and say, spin it again. This is Pachinko Sexy Reaction at its most heinous form, tapping deep into our brains to give us the good stuff, only to siphon the money out of our savings like vampires. Let's get back on topic. Cave's 1997 hit vertical shooter isn't even the first game in the series. Technically, that would be 1995's Dodonpachi, but developers at Cave were already hardened soldiers at the time of Dodonpachi's release. Take Satoshi Koyama, for instance. He was but just one of many developers at Toaplan, where he and a ragtag group of programmers made Batsugun, a neat little game for arcades and later the Sega Saturn. I played Batsugun. It's alright. Toaplan would go bankrupt a year after Batsugun's release, and that was that. Shortly after the company's downfall, former Toaplan employees would go on to found Cave, where they would release their inaugural game, Dodonpachi. Cut to a few years later and we'd have Dodonpachi. Dodonpachi is both an onomatopoeia and simple Japanese. In Japanese, Dodonpachi means angry bee leader. Maybe this is referring to the swarm of bullets resembling bees. Maybe it refers to the humming of cathode ray tube arcade screens. Maybe it just sounds cool to say out loud. Going back to the onomatopoeia, Dodonpachi is supposed to be the sound of a machine gun firing off. Dodonpachi, Dodonpachi, Dodonpachi. You hear it, right? Real quick, let's look at that I at the end of Dodonpachi. It's silent in all Japanese pronunciation, but I've heard English speakers say Dodonpachi and Dodonpachi. It's kind of like karaoke and karaoke. You can say, I like Dodonpachi, or Ore wa Dodonpachi ga daisuki, and you'd be right either way. Anyways, Dodonpachi comes out and people complain that it didn't play like a Toaplan game. Dodonpachi was the huge success, and the game proceeded to put the company on the map. Cave would then put out a new arcade game nearly every single year for over a decade, and they were all superb. Here's a few: Esbrade, Dangan Feveron, Goange, Ketsue Kizo no Jikoko Tachi, Galuda and Galuda 2, Mushihime Sama, Ibara, Death Smiles 1 and 2, and Akai Katana. Now, Cave is thankfully still around. These days, they mostly focus on mobile games and hiring other studios to port their classics to modern consoles. These ports are great, but oddly enough, there's never been a proper port of the original Dodonpachi, aside from the Sega Saturn version back in the 90s. That's what I thought, at least. Turns out Dodonpachi also came out for the Sony PlayStation as well. Hell, according to fans, the Saturn port wasn't even that good of a conversion. I love you, Sega Saturn, but I'm moving on to PlayStation for this playthrough. Now, a seasoned player will tell you that the arcade game is the version to play. But I'm not seasoned. I'm a bowl of cereal with a little too much milk. I'll be sticking with the PS1 release. Now the ISO has been downloaded, DuckStation is quacking along, I'm ready. The first stage was simple enough, but it's important to remember what kind of game this is. This is an arcade shooter. A cave arcade shooter. The game was difficult, so players would put more coins in the machine, but the game was difficult with purpose. Seeing the bullets fly all around the screen in a kaleidoscope of light and sound is nothing short of hypnotizing. If video games are art, then Dodonpachi is one of the greatest art installations of our time. What I'm saying is that if you were to show this game to Van Gogh, he'd probably chop his other ear off. Speaking of ears, that gunfire, the guitar riffs, the clinking of the trinkets absorbing into your ship. There it is again. Dodonpachi. Pachinko. Pachinko sexy reaction. It all goes back to Pachinko sexy reaction. I wasn't even joking when I said that all games revolve around Pachinko sexy reaction. It's unavoidable. We can all agree that Dodonpachi is a treat for the eyes and ears, and that it's hard as nails. But eventually players got to purchase the game outright, either on PlayStation or Saturn. Arcade-perfect ports were finally starting to become a reality, especially for 2D games, and Dodonpachi for PlayStation is at least passable for the most part. Dodonpachi on PS1 still uses the arcade's credit system, where you start with a finite amount of tries at the game, run out of credits and it's game over. I went ahead and set the credit amount to unlimited because I wanted to try something. I wanted to see how much time and money I could theoretically spend playing Dodonpachi to completion. World of Long Play's video on the game clocks in at just over 30 minutes, so that's my par. Each credit cost 100 yen, so all in all the game cost me about 27 minutes and 2,500 yen. That's about $22. Tell me how wrong I am in the comments. I was never great at math. Now that I've finished Dodonpachi, I can call myself a Dodonpachi fan in the mirror every morning instead of just a Dodonpachi appreciator or Dodonpachi fraud. But there lies one more layer to the Dodonpachi ice cream cake. In order to show you what I mean, I must show you my shirts. Hello. It's me again. I'm here in the closet. Not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've been in the closet. I came out about 12 years ago or so. Here are all the gunpla that I've built over the years. It's really not as many as I thought. Also, I'm a weird little freak who collects all of my old boxes for shit. So, yeah, shoutouts to the Wii U. Anyways, I saw a tweet last year where Someone said that the average white person owns 30 pairs of shirts and 2 pairs of jeans, and I took that very personally. Anyways, here are my shirts. Some of my shirts. This is a collection of shirts. Sorry if I'm shivering. It's like 10 degrees outside, and they usually don't make closets insulated. Anyways, coming up, we got my Biohazard shirt, because I really love Biohazard, Resident Evil. Chainsaw Man, which is a pretty good manga, pretty good anime. Bedtime Island, if you know, you know. Got the Kaima Argonar shirt from The Lost Odyssey. Whew, sorry, it is very cold in here. Didn't think this through. Yeah, they didn't make merch for Lost Odyssey, so I had to make my own. Truck hack. Got Mothman, have a nice day. It's a big favorite around here. That's Inside Out, but that's a shirt from VA11 Hull A. What is this? What's this shirt? Oh, you can't see it, but it's my Bernie Sanders shirt. I ordered it, and then before it even arrived, he dropped out. So they sent me double. It's my Dragon Quest Slime shirt. I got it at Summer Games Done Quick, I think 2018. Whew, I think I left this shirt at my parents' place when I moved, and my parents didn't know whose it was, so I went to my parents' house one day, and my mom was just wearing it. She didn't know what it was. She thought they were just cartoon characters. I think that about does it for my shirts. All the cool ones are inside out, so yeah, that was a Samurai Showdown shirt. The reason I had to show you my shirts is because I like to wear my favorite things. Think of me as a slightly smaller billboard. There's an Etsy store called Outer Stratum that sells shirts based on niche Japanese media. They made that Biohazard shirt. They made a few more of my shirts. I own the Bubblegum Crisis shirt and the Shin Megami Tensei shirt. Now that I think about it, where is my Shin Megami Tensei shirt? It's probably under my bed. Editor's note, it was under my bed. To my delight, I'm surfing through Outer Stratum's store page, and look what I find. Dodonpachi, the shirt. I had to have it, but I needed to earn it. After all, I wasn't a Dodonpachi super player. I was just a Dodonpachi player. I set out a goal. I'll order the shirt now, and it usually arrives in a week. That gives me plenty of time to learn the machinations of the game and complete Dodonpachi with 1 credit. The 1cc, the 1 credit complete. That meant 3 lives, 3 chances to get back up in case I slip. I needed to do this not for me, but for strangers on the internet. I'm always looking for validation after all, but I knew I couldn't do it alone. There had to be somebody out there who could help. I live in a town of about 6,000 people. Surely one of these people knew how to 1cc Dodonpachi. So I took to the streets and asked for help. I was out of luck. No one knew how to 1cc Dodonpachi. I asked one lady and she only knew how to 1cc but a black label. I went ahead and posted an ad around the neighborhood, but I knew nothing would come out of this. Then it hit me. I have a group of cave fans right at the tip of my fingers. While we wait, I decided to watch super plays of Dodonpachi online. Super plays are essentially videos of skilled players going through shooting games. They've been popular for decades, harking back as early as shooters have been around. The earliest Dodonpachi super play on record is by player Hattie back in 2000, but sadly the video has been lost to time. But as of writing this script, I came across a potentially older super play of Dodonpachi from 1999. There isn't any info on exactly who's playing it, but maybe it's Hattie. Who knows? I'll link the original vid in the description. Anyways, after watching super plays and talking on Discord, I decided to hop in and go at it. After a few hours, I lost hope. Maybe the input lag was a problem. Maybe I wasn't using the right controller. Maybe it's because I'm not playing the arcade version. I was at a loss. it stopped being fun, or maybe it was never fun. Maybe I was just trying to fit into some mold and gatekeep myself into what I thought a Dodonpachi fan was. I already loved the game. I didn't need to prove myself to anyone. Then, about a week later, it arrived. The Dodonpachi shirt. My angry leader B. My final boss screen printed on Gildane. If I wore it, I knew deep down that I didn't earn it. I couldn't 1cc Dodonpachi. I failed. Or did I? You see, deep down I knew I was going at this the wrong way. It doesn't matter how you enjoy a game so long as you enjoy it. I was going to wear the Dodonpachi shirt whether I 1cc'd it or not. I don't care if some weirdo on the internet says I'm a fraud or a poser. I just made a whole video on a game I've only played about 5 hours of. If that doesn't make me a fan, then I don't know what does. Hi. Welcome to the end of the video. It's me, Privatelyattack, rocking the Dodonpachi shirt. I wrote this whole script December 22nd, 2022. It is currently January 24th, 2023, and I'm editing. I just finished editing. I'm also very tired. It is pretty late at night or early in the morning, depending on how you look at it. Anyways, yeah, so it took about a month, and could have been a lot less time, but I just had like job and, just kind of keeping up with like hobbies and stuff. My New Year's resolution was to be more active online. That was a huge mistake. Bunch of people just yelled at me and I got really nervous, so I just kind of gave up. I was kind of chronicling or however you say it, I don't know. I was kind of like making a little kind of journal on Twitter of like how I went about the process of like, oh, I'm writing the script, I'm editing the script, I'm recording, blah, 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 blah. And that was fun. I'm probably not going to do that again because I don't want to keep up with that. So my videos are pretty much like from coming up with the idea to writing the script to editing. It's pretty much the same like format no matter what, mainly because it's easier. Yeah, this was the premiere of season 2. Want to do one season per year. It might roll over into the next year because I do have a few extra things planned out. I don't really want to talk about them yet. I'll just kind of like roll them out as we go along. As far as like the supplemental stuff, one thing I want to get into pretty much as soon as this is published is I'm going to start doing YouTube Shorts, because thanks to stuff like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, that's just how you get views. And I'm not trying to get views. I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to build an audience, and I want to make sure the audience is as engaged as possible. Quick heads up, they're probably still going to be 16:9, the videos themselves. So just turn your phone. Easy, just turn your phone. If you're watching a YouTube short on like your laptop, just turn your laptop a little bit. That's kind of a joke, but also, yeah. You can also do YouTube shorts now on your TV, which kind of defeats the purpose because these videos aren't very long. The videos that I'll be producing will be probably no longer than 100. Almost at 100 minutes. No, it'll be no longer than probably a minute, if that. I also have some other things kind of planned that are sort of supplemental. You got your classic yearly end of the year video, blah, blah, blah. I can't really think of anything this year that I want to actually play besides maybe like Final Fantasy 16 and RE4 and maybe Like a Dragon Ishin. I still need to finish Yakuza 0 or Like a Dragon 0. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. But before I let you go, I want to give you a teaser for season 2. These are the 5 videos that I have planned. Hopefully before the end of the year. Like I said, if it rolls over, it rolls over. It's okay. It's all right. None of this is real. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my Patreon. I think I put it like what, $1, $3 a month. You pretty much pay what you want, and you get the satisfaction of supporting me. That's good. That's pretty good. I like that. I still do little written essays from time to time. I might have one in the works for February. Just kind of depends. Also, this is a big video for me, both in terms of how long it is and also just kind of like the content within. I did get a little sappy, little new games journalism-y kind of like halfway through. If that continues, that continues. I mean, if I'm going to get sad about Final Fantasy, that's kind of on you. Just kidding. But maybe not, who knows. But for real, like, I think this will be way more produced than most of the other videos I have planned, because this is also like almost a year in the making too, from like February to basically like November or October is when I played Dodonpachi for the first time. So yeah, anyways, stay tuned. Here is the teaser for season 2 of Privatelyattack.
そう、今息を引き取ったの。
Now